Our next guest says there is a marked difference in being a good writer and a good storyteller. One is skill and one is craft, and an author must develop both. Being a voracious reader led to a writing career that's featured both sides of her brain, the technical and the creative, with recent horror fiction novels receiving critical acclaim and award nominations. Lindy Ryan's book, Bless Your Heart, was named by multiple outlets as one of the best horror books of 2024, and the follow-up, Another Fine Mess, continues the chaos with Southern charm, revealing what happens when women stop smiling and start showing their teeth. Lindy joins us this morning with more details. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I love that. All right, you're a Beaumont native, and you were one of those kids, while I was looking forward to the bake sale, you were looking forward to the elementary school scholastic book fairs. You just loved books and reading.
Oh, absolutely. I was definitely a girl who read everything I could get my hands on, from the Sunday comics to whatever books I stole from my grandmother's bookshelves. But yeah, scholastic book fairs were the highlight of elementary school for sure.
Yeah, you were actually earning extra money making pot holders so that you could afford to buy all the books you wanted.
That is true. I did. I would, use those little looms and make pot holders and peddle them to all the neighbors just so I could, save my quarters for the book fair.
Yeah, for Goosebumps and Babysitters Club. All right.
Yes, absolutely.
So
perfect balance.
Yeah, right. But somebody who loves to read that much, you say it was just a matter of time before you thought, well, why don't I write and create my own stories? And so your inspiration to become an author, though, was Welcome to Dead House by R.L. Stine. But your first, I'm kind of concerned about the first thing that you wrote was a picture book. Was it a picture book? No, maybe, oh, good. Maybe I don't think it was a picture book, but it was called Toodles is Dead.
It was a short story that I wrote called Toodles is Dead. And it now is the prologue of my upcoming novel. So things have a way of, taking different forms and different shapes and evolving into new stories over the years.
Now, how old were you when you wrote this?
I don't know, probably around 10, 11. And, I've been tinkering with that same story for the past few decades.
So when you go to your parents and go, look, Mom, look, Dad, I wrote a book. It's called Toodles is Dead. And was Toodles a real thing?
Toodles was a real thing, and unfortunately, he was dead.
Oh.
So he was a childhood pet that literally flew too close to the sun and was knocked down by a ceiling fan. Oh. But, that story took on its own life, and like I said, it's now a prologue to a new book, so Toodles lives on.
Yeah, all right. While in college, you double majored business and literature. We talked about those two sides of your brain there. Your papers graded well, and you were published in scholarly journals, and you taught more of that kind of, that side of nonfiction, and then you decided to come back to the fiction work, because the other stuff you said was just kind of not fun.
Oh, I didn't say that. No, it's definitely fun. But
yeah, the technical stuff. No, the non. You liked the. We're looking at some of the titles of some of the stuff that you did, like visual analytics fundamentals, visual data storytelling with the tableau, and advances in exemplary instruction. You found that part fun too?
Of course. I think all writing is fun. I think it's, you can put as much fun into it as you can and have as good a time as you can writing and editing and putting that craft together. But I teach college, so those textbooks are really important to my students and to my day job. So
you just made a great point. It's not what's being written, it's how you write it and how you relay the message. So thanks for that. All right, but you returned to writing fiction, and it rekindled that old fire in you that you felt as a young reader. Aloha with Love, Trick or Treat, Alistair Gray, Feast of Gray, Cold Snap, and have gotten critical acclaim for all of them. Bram Stoker Award nominations: Into the Forest, Tales of the Baba Yaga, Mother Knows Best, Tales of Homemade Horror, and Bless Your Heart. Okay, you're a champion for women's voices in horror. It's interesting because sometimes we think that belongs to the men, but historically we've seen women do very well with it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, horror has always been a women's genre, from, Mary Shelley inventing science fiction to Shirley Jackson, the queen of Gothic novels. And women, we know horror, we know fear, we know blood. We all carry ghost stories inside of us. So I believe my job as a woman in horror is to lift the chorus, to amplify other women's voices in the genre.
Yeah. All right. Bless your heart. Take us behind this series. And of course, a lot of us, especially in Texas, are familiar with that phrase.
Yeah, a little bit of a double-edged sword, Bless Your Heart is, but the Bless Your Heart series follows four generations of women in Southeast Texas in a very fictionalized version of my hometown, Beaumont, who own and operate a family funeral parlor. They are tasked with burying the town's dead and making sure they stay in their graves. So it was inspired by the four generations of my family. My grandmothers have come and gone from this world. I wanted to spend more time with them, so I wrote them back to life in the pages of this series. And tell the stories of women in the South.
Yeah, you in a book, and with any book, an author kind of incorporates parts of someone that they've known, right? But a lot of us as readers, we do the same thing, is that we incorporate parts of ourselves. So we're a partner with you in that book, and you hope that readers will see themselves in the book as well. Okay, why do we love being scared? Because we're used to movies scaring us, but books can do that too. And we churn each page at our own pace, and books can do that too. Why do we love it so much?
Well, I think horror is a genre of hope. That's something I say often. It teaches us, we are scared reading horror or experiencing horror. There's fear, but there's also a lot of other nervous reactions. And when we can, learn to survive, learn resilience, learn to fight back, I think those are the lessons of horror. It's not about being scared. It's about surviving through the fear. So I think horror is a very important reading exercise, watching exercise. It's an important thing to experience in our lives so that we develop the skills to, look that fear in the face and make it hope it survives us.
Yeah, and horror with laughter. I love how you say laughter lets the pressure valve hiss before the scream hits. You also say humor makes horror human. Your characters aren't superheroes. And this other quote, I love this. They're people who still have to deal with casseroles, HOA drama, and menopause.
Right. We just put the smile on and just keep plowing right through it. And so the laughter isn't meant to undercut the fear. It's the opposite. It's proof that we made it through.
Yeah. All right. Your new book, Dollface. What can we expect with that?
So Dollface is my love letter to the slasher genre. It is a suburban slasher, and it's a slasher that knows it's a slasher. So it's for every woman who's had to smile through her fear and pick up a knife and fight back. But it is Barbie meets Scream, follows a horror author up in the New Jersey suburbs who, gets enlisted onto the most frightening thing of all, the PTA, and has to survive a masked killer.
All right. And then, as you mentioned before, Toodles is Dead is part of the prologue. All right. Finally, Lindy, for all those people, they say everybody has a book in them. For all those people who say, I'd love to write a book, or whatever genre it is you want to do, but they can't seem to start, what's your best advice?
You start how and where and when you can, whether it's a few words scribbled on the back of a napkin or a notebook you keep by your bedside. When an idea strikes, just start putting it down one word at a time, and you'll get there eventually.
All right. Lindy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Lindy Ryan's novels, Bless Your Heart and Another Fine Mess, are available now everywhere books are sold. And look out for her next book, Dollface, releasing next February. For more information, visit greatdayhouston.com.